All right, this should be our last video for this chapter. Now we're moving into language. And basically languages are spoken, written, or gestured works, and the way we combine them to communicate meaning. So, the big thing is communication. That's language. And now what we're going to go through is all the stages that we learn them at. And first is the babbling stage, the stage of speech development in which the infant spontaneously utters various sounds at first, unrelated to household language, beginning at 3 to 4 months. And it's a trip, when you guys have kids, it is a good stage. It's fun because all of a sudden you walk in the room and they're just going dub 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 dub. And believe it or not, ladies, they're gonna say dad dad before they say mama because it's easier. They have found that to say dad 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 dad, they're not even saying dad, they're saying da da da. But of course, all dads interpret that as they love me more. Mom takes more manipulation of the lips. But anyway, babbling stage, you just go on and they'll just jibber jabber to themselves, and it's fun to listen to them. And it doesn't, as far as we know, really mean anything. It's almost like they're just practicing, developing the muscles and the ability to do it at the babbling stage. And then you enter the one-word stage. The stage in speech development during which a child speaks mostly in single words. This is from about 1 to 2. And this is, those of you who have already heard this part of my lecture, or I don't remember if I said it this year already or not, but this is where my sons used berries. They love strawberries. That was the thing that they started off with very young. And they would always just, it would be berries to get strawberries. And then what was funny is they started to berries sort of became the term they used for food. And let me tell you, that is not fun because they would, get in the kitchen, either they crawl in or something, and berries, and you'd say, you want some strawberries? And I'd go to open the refrigerator and I would grab the box of strawberries and they'd go, berries! Berries! And it would just get, you're like, I don't know what you want. And then you grab blueberries and it's like, berries! And they just keep getting into this more and more. They get more agitated. And so I'm just like looking at them, just touching anything I could find in the refrigerator, trying to, just figure out what they wanted, and it's like, just tell me, I'll get you whatever you want, just stop screaming. And they'd start crying, and you just feel like a complete failure as a parent because you can't communicate with your child. But it's a stage that they all go through, and then they eventually work their way through it. But very vivid, fond memories of that stage. And so whenever you hear me saying berries, that's what I'm referring to. All right, then they enter the two-word stage, beginning at about age 2. They are able to put 2 words together, okay? And it's very specific sort of commands. It's actually, what's really known, this stage is known as telegraphic speech. It's things like they'll say, go car. If they want to, go in the car, they'll go car, usually mostly nouns and verbs and omitting auxiliary words like the, and, those type of things. But things like want berry, now they'll start to go into want berry or go car, or there's so many different examples there that, you can go on and on. But telegraphic speech means that they're advancing to the next stage where they're starting to put action to their nouns. Okay, and here's a look at how it goes, usually by month, roughly. Okay, so at 4 months you have babbles many speech sounds. At 10 months, babbling reveals household language. Okay, da da. Okay. 12 one-word stage, and then 24 two-word telegraphic speech, which I was talking about, and then 24 plus months, there doesn't seem to be a 3-word stage. It seems to go from 2-word stage to just very quickly. There's just this jump to being able to complete sentences. We don't know why, but there does not seem to be. It's babbling, 1 word, 2 word, and then bam, sentences. So I don't have an answer for you other than that's just where we are. We don't understand. I mean, that's the way it works. We just don't understand why not a three-word stage, and then, you know, why doesn't just sentences get gradually more complex? We don't know, okay? All right, so it seems that genes design the mechanisms for a language, and experience activates them as it modifies the brain. So genetically, we're designed for language. It's not saying what language you speak. It's that we are genetically wired to be able to communicate with one another at some point through language. Now, how we learn that is experience, and that's what language you learn, okay? And that can have a dramatic effect basically on how you actually are developing your muscles for your tongue and your mouth and your lips and so on and so forth, okay? So here's another chart. Okay, so you have genes that you're designed to speak, and then your environment, spoken language, provides input to the brain, okay? And then eventually you have mastery of that language that you are first taught. And some of these things, you have to hear these sounds very young, otherwise you'll never get them. I used to show a film in my geography class called The Gods Must Be Crazy. If you've never seen it, watch it. It was an actual real movie, but it's kind of filmed like a documentary. It came out in 1981. But it's a comedy slapstick type movie. But it's about the Kalahari Bushmen, which is a group of people that live in the Kalahari Desert in Africa, as they did thousands of years ago. It's such a remote place in a desert that they've literally been unaffected by modern man. Nobody goes in there. There's no reason to live in there except they live there because they know how to survive there. So they have had no reason to change their culture for thousands of years. But they have this language where they click, and that's the point I'm trying to make, is this. You can hear when in the movie, you can hear them talking where they're also saying, you know, and you know they're saying something, but you don't know what they're saying. But then they also have, before that comes out of their mouth, they click. I can't even do it right. But it's amazing to me that the clicks, you know, are there. It's just like, it's so foreign to me, and I'm sure to you, that why would anybody do that? How does that have meaning? But in their language, it does. And for us, it is a very difficult thing to even try to do as adult. At this point in my life, as an adult, even you, where you are, even though you're still technically a kid, you pretty much passed that age of learning a second language, which leads me to this next slide, where they show that somewhere around 7, 8, 9-ish, you really are going to have a hard time learning a second language. If you want your child to be multilingual, you really need to start them off from day one speaking either a second and or a third language, because to try to do it at your age, and especially at my age, at this point forward, something crystallizes in the mind that just makes it very difficult for us to do it. It's not that I can't learn a language. It's not that I won't be able to use Rosetta Stone and technically survive. You know, I'll be able to go to Italy and survive. You know, if I learned Italian through Rosetta Stone, I'll be able to go over and order food and, you know, do banking transactions and stuff. But I will never master the language the way a native speaker has. For instance, it might be very difficult for me to suddenly, you know, learn that language, Italian, through Rosetta Stone, and then try to become an Italian writer. Okay, there's a lot of nuances in any language that I just won't get. Okay, so keep that in mind, especially also when you here in America, we have so many people coming from all over the world that are first-generation immigrants. You know, everybody chuckles when they hear someone messing up English. English is an extremely difficult language to learn in the first place because we have so many exceptions to the rule. But when some people come from other languages, they haven't even developed the muscle tone, the right muscle movements to say certain words, and that's, it's comical, I guess, but at times, be understanding. The Christmas Story, at the end of the movie, when the family goes to the Chinese restaurant and all the cooks come out to sing, or the waiters come out to sing to them, deck the halls, and they say, deck the halls with boughs of jolly, and they're supposed to say fa la 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 la, and they say fa ra 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 ra. Okay, it's done for comic effect, but in a scientific point of view, the Chinese don't have that word. They don't have that sound in their language. La la. You have to learn to curl your tongue a certain way to get that to come out of your mouth. They don't do it. So to be an immigrant to America, and then suddenly you have all these words with la, like fa la 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 la, you can't say them, or you say them the best you can and it comes out wrong. Okay, so just put yourself in a context of going to China, or the Kalahari, and meeting with the Kalahari Bushmen. You're going to try and say stuff to communicate, and there's going to be people chuckling at you because you're thinking you're saying one thing and you're not. Okay, and or you're messing it up. So it would happen to all of us. I guess that hopefully that does not keep some of you from traveling the world. I want you to travel the world. All right, last slide. Here we go. Linguistic determinism. This is Worf's hypothesis. He's a researcher. His hypothesis that language determines the way we think. And I'll tell you what, I can't disagree with this theory. I mean, to me, it makes so much sense. We use English terms, and we think in a Western format, I think, because we use certain terms. But every culture is slightly different. And some of the examples, what is it? Unlike English, which has a rich vocabulary for self-focused emotions such as anger, we have lots of ways to describe our anger in our culture. The Japanese have many words for interpersonal emotions such as sympathy. They have many shades of sympathy, okay? Whereas we have many shades of anger, okay? Many bilinguals report that they even have a different sense of self depending on which language they are using. I wouldn't know this, I'm not bilingual, but I have asked enough students that they say, yeah, they think differently based on whether they're thinking in Spanish or they're thinking in English, okay? And that's kind of a cool idea, because sometimes the way our culture works, other cultures don't even identify with it. And you can see there's so many cultures out there that we tend to have conflicts with, and we probably aren't going to come to a meeting of the minds because our languages are so different. We literally will not be able to sort of understand each other's point of view, okay? Oh, the bell is ringing. And what is it? Last but not least, you want to destroy a culture, destroy their language. When you can absolutely keep a culture from using its language, that culture will die. Okay? Keep that in mind. Good luck. Talk to you soon.